So the world of content is changing quicker than I think anyone can really comprehend at this point. Millions of people are flocking to platforms like TikTok to consume short videos. And for someone who's been making long videos on YouTube for the last 10 years, well, it's a bit confusing. So I decided to interview 3 of the most popular food creators on TikTok to hopefully get a better understanding of what the hell is going on. All right, so the first thing I'll say is I'm not an avid TikTok consumer. I prefer longer videos, but you know, I do find myself swiping from time to time. And also, I'm not a big food content consumer on the internet because I find that if I watch too much other content, it can start infiltrating my brain and can affect my originality on Pro Home Cooks, which I prefer not to do. But at the same time, you know, I don't want to be the old guy at the party. I got to keep my finger at least a little bit on the pulse. So I try to understand what's going on. And from my research, I'm going to break TikTok food content into 4 different categories. Number 1 is just original to TikTok. We're talking born out of the TikTok algorithm womb. So original to this platform, and you won't see it anywhere else. Number 2 is storytelling content, where you have a sort of narrative storytelling over food being made. Number 3 is ASMR content, just quick food in your face with a lot of sound effects. I'm sure you've seen it many times. And number 4 is personality-based content. Basically what I'm doing on YouTube, where you have a mix of personality and food content together, a love child, but the short form version of that. So a great example of unique to TikTok food content is Cooking with Linja, who I'm sure a lot of you have at least come across at some point. Her content is so original and it's really come alive through the explosion of TikTok. Let's just stroll through to find one of her 95 million views. Jesus Christ.
It met my low expectations, yes.
So you've got a mix of a lot of things. You've got personality, you've got a little ASMR, you've got animations, effects.
We're getting there.
A lot of entertainment value.
3. The taste of the bread, the mix of
and it's all within a short package of 42 seconds. Another great example, Gent Bentley. His dad was an Iron Chef, so he does a lot of content with his dad, which is actually its own category on TikTok. You see a lot of child-parent duo content where you have the younger person who understands how this works, like this guy who was an Iron Chef. And he'll do like really expensive fruit taste tests, just a perfect short package of content. He also will do content like this, where he just gives his dad a bunch of food and kind of puts him to the test. For instance, a piece of takeout pizza, and tells him to like do some crazy shit with it. And his dad just goes absolute beast mode, making some crazy stuff. Again, really well produced, just someone who understands the platform really well and has capitalized off a cool niche. So the next style of food content we're looking into is the narrative storytelling food content. And a great example of that is Rooted in Spice, who I've come across a few times.
As a New Yorker, I could always find cabbage rolls year-round, but for some reason, it just feels like a winter dish. It's such a classic cozy meal that's so popular in Poland, Ukraine, Romania, Turkey, Iran, and probably so many other places.
So basically, these creators have decided to pick a path. Rather than trying to pump all the specifics of the recipe and the story and the personality into one video, she's making an extensive meal right here, clearly, but she's just choosing to really focus on the story behind the recipe or the story of the actual recipe. So right here, you're coming away with not necessarily the specific information to make this recipe, but you can still get a lot of inspiration by seeing it made, plus inspiration from the actual story behind the dish. And this type of content works great on TikTok. Another great example of this is the Korean vegan. And I actually interviewed Joanne, and she's got a fascinating story because she was actually a trial lawyer for many years before she ever made food content.
I went to law school in 2001, became a lawyer in 2004, went vegan in 2016. I decided for myself, hey, I really need to figure out how to veganize kimchi, how to veganize galbi, how to veganize 된장찌개. These are the things that I grew up eating and I was unwilling to give up as a result of going plant-based. My husband was the one who suggested, well, if you're going to do that for yourself, why not share it with people on YouTube? It was just a diversion. It was a hobby. It was something to go to when, work was slow or if I needed a little, creative kick. In 2017, I started sharing stories in my Instagram captions instead of the recipes. And this was a very deliberate attempt to engage my community with the idea that, hey, immigrant stories may be different from yours, but that doesn't make them any less American.
Where do you feel that things really started to pick up for you with the brand?
In 2020, I would say was when everyone was like talking about TikTok. I have so many other social media accounts that are about food. I want one social media account to be about politics. And so for the first month, I would create these stupid videos, just talk about Donald Trump and the ban.
So yesterday, TikTok finally sued Donald Trump and the government over Donald Trump's order requiring it to sell itself by September 15th or be banned.
And then I posted the video of me making my mom's 감자 조림, which is a recipe in my cookbook. It was just the sound of me cooking and my husband giving a piano lesson in the background. The next day it had 600,000 views. That was insanity to me. I had no idea that it would catch on as much as it did. Completely new situation for me.
So now you kind of developed this style. Has that been pretty much what you've continued on for the last 2 years?
Yeah, I have. I mean, as you know, having done this as a content creator for many years, if you continue to do the same thing without innovation, eventually people are going to be like, okay.
I knew you were going there. I've seen that over the last 8 years of being on YouTube. And I think on YouTube, I grew up with all of these other creators around me in the food space and, just seeing if they adapted, if they didn't, fall off, growth. And on TikTok, I can only imagine it's even quicker. How do you feel about, sort of the intensity of pace on the platform?
That's a really great question. The drop off can be precipitous, because the incline is similarly precipitous, right?
Yeah.
It just is so fast. And so if you're not ready to adapt to changes in the algorithm, changes in the size of the community. I mean, when I started, 10 million users were using something like that, TikTok. Now it's 150 million, people are using TikTok. What does that mean? You have to learn to adjust to that. And if you don't, all of a sudden, the algorithm doesn't see you anymore. I always say this, I've said this to YouTube, you guys are like mutual funds. You just have to keep investing. It's a slow burn, and TikTok is Bitcoin. It's, you go up, you get and
rich
down,
fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Lose your money fast.
But yeah.
If you're a food creator today, do you think TikTok is that place, or is it a place specific for a certain thing like you're talking about?
It really depends on what kind of food creator you want to be. If you want to be a TV star, then I would say TikTok is where you should be.
I see. Just because, the most hype, the most clout.
It's going to be the most hype, right? I always say you're not going to get famous off of YouTube. You're going to get money off of YouTube. If you want a business, you go on YouTube. If you want to become famous and have a shot at television or your own streaming show, then you got to go on TikTok. At the end of the day, though, people know when they see a Korean vegan video, and that is something I'm very, very proud of.
All right, so up next, we are talking about ASMR cooking content on TikTok. So at this point, everyone pretty much knows what ASMR is. Basically just intense auditory content. And it works great for food because there is a lot of beautiful sounds and intense sounds when it comes to cooking. And when you mix that with a 1-minute video, it's a match made in heaven. Whereas on YouTube, you do not see much ASMR cooking videos. You see the eating ASMR content, which I just do not get. But on TikTok, cooking ASMR is huge. And a great example of it is this guy, Sam Eats. I'm sure you've seen him. He's blown up over the last probably 2 years. This video has 134 million views on Ratatouille. Let's take a look. Chicken and waffles. So it's very rhythmic, to the beat almost. And obviously, it's just quick cuts, as quick as they can be. hearing all of the sound effects. It's just super intense content. And then also amazing visuals, of course. Like he's making these beautiful dishes, this fried chicken. And that's how all of his content is gonna be. It's pretty much the same exact style, just different meals. And another great example of this is Owen Han, who I actually interviewed. And Owen has a pretty interesting story because his food adventure really just started a few years ago.
I was born in Italy, mom Italian, dad Chinese. So growing up, we moved to the States when I was about 6. We would go back to see our grandparents in Tuscany. Really, it was there that I fell in love with food. Senior year, I meet H. Wu, who is a food content creator now.
You're gonna watch me cook for myself. It's easy. Salmon, peas, and herbs.
I love food. We just like hit it off, started talking. We started a pop-up, literally ran out of an old fraternity house. And we would just do these like weekly curated menus.
So what got you to make your first TikTok?
My roommate H. Wu blew up and he encouraged me to start these videos. And I did. It was shrimp toast. And that was my first like mini viral moment. I think I hit like 250,000 views in like a day or two. And I was like, holy shit, this was cool. The more I started like scrolling on TikTok, to me personally, that was what I was most drawn to. I don't even know what's going on, but I would watch people like restock their shelves, watching non-food videos and then being like, why am I drawn to this? And it's literally because of sounds.
You come in with this style, you start developing it, you start going viral. When do you feel like, you know, there was more of a turning point and it's like, oh wait, okay, this is kind of the path. This is maybe a career.
I started off with that shrimp toast video. It did decently well. And so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna film my lunch today, which was a chicken bacon avocado sandwich. And that was my first video to break 1 million. So I was like, okay, like within these 2 weeks, let me just put out as much content and see like what could go on. Right after that chicken sandwich, I did a steak sandwich and that broke 10 million. And I was like, all right, we got something here. Let's go. I always thought TikTok was like that dancing app or whatever. I realized there was like so much food content on there. I was like, I didn't know this like was a thing. And then the thing with TikTok is like, you can grow so exponentially, so much faster than these other platforms that it just logically made sense.
Is it kind of like, I'm just going to focus on TikTok because this is where my community is. This is where my videos, you know, find the most success.
We all want to transition to YouTube, not permanently, but we want to grow an audience there. Thing with YouTube is like, you got to be really, really consistent.
YouTube needs to know you're serious about this shit. Like
It's
you gotta,
yeah, like every
gotta put it
I've talked to
out.
that has the success, they're like, dude, give it at least like a year, just be consistent, and then like it'll switch and all of them will like start blowing up.
I will say like it's definitive that you have to change over time. I've had to make many shifts in my career. So you've had all of this success with this style. Is that something that you think about?
I'm a firm believer of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But in terms of evolving, I've noticed just like I've started adding songs sometimes just because I feel like it makes the video better. And in terms of like a production standpoint, I used to film with an iPhone and just recently I fully switched to a camera. I got a brand new mic. I got a whole new light source. You constantly have to think of like ways like, how can I make this better?
The quickness of success, does that ever concern you?
I've just become numb to it. Like I broke 100K on YouTube, but I have like no real long form video. And so I remember when I got the plaque, I was like, this doesn't really feel right. Like, you know what I mean? I'm posting a YouTube short where literally like I'm filming my like a sandwich on my lunch that like I put together and it's 10 seconds and it'll get like 100,000 views and I'm getting these subscribers knowing the amount of time it takes to put together a long form video. Why would I do that? Like if I just hone in on shorts.
This is kind of what I'm trying to get at to some degree. I think that is a fascinating new evolution of content.
There's another food creator I follow and he literally broke like 1 million followers on YouTube. Like the fastest I've seen, like I think like within a month or something. And
wow.
His name is Blake, like Blake Moran Cooks. He literally throws cheese on the ceiling and whatever. Like it blew up on shorts, has this crazy big following. And then naturally you want to like try out long form and it's not even getting anywhere close to the numbers of the shorts. But he still broke 1 million followers. Like I think he's at like 3 million or something. So in my head, seeing that,
like it took me like 8 years.
Exactly. Like it's so.
What did it take him, a month?
Yeah, and so like it was the same with like even the 100K plaque. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
what are some of your more long-term goals? You know, where do you want to be? Are you living your dream right now, or you know, what's going on inside the head of Owen?
Yeah, there's two big goals. One, sandwich like restaurant, and then I think to have a show would be awesome. Down the road, I don't know, like 10 years, do I really think I'm going to be posting food videos on TikTok? I don't know.
So the last category I'm calling just personality-based food creators on TikTok. Basically what I'm doing, just in short vertical form. And a great example of this, someone who I think is doing it great, is this guy named Brandon, or Sad Poppy is his handle. And if you scroll through his videos, I'll just click on one real quickly, you get his personality, and it's not like in your face, like every video has to be over the top. He has more of an ongoing conversation with his audience. And I think if I was only doing TikTok, that's probably what I would be doing, because you're just gonna build a more organic audience and a closer connection rather than just throwing out content into the TikTok algorithm every single video you produce.
It's eggy. It's really good.
So you get the education, you get the personality,
It's like at a nice.
you get a little bit of entertainment, and you get really cool food creations. And obviously, being a personality food-based creator, I appreciate this style on TikTok. Another great version of this is a guy named Matt, or a cook named Matt is his handle. And I actually interviewed Matt, and he's got a pretty interesting story because he was always working in food to kind of supplement his more creative lifestyle. So he always wanted to make videos, but he was working in restaurants since he was like 16, getting professional experience, ultimately to just commit to doing content full time, making cooking videos.
I'm from South Texas. I've been cooking in Texas, like Austin, San Antonio, South Padre Island, and Seattle looked like a good place to land. I wanted to go work for Chef Tom Douglas, started doing pop-up dinners on the side.
How did you first get into making content?
Me and my friends, they filmed me cooking on my iPod Touch. It was a burger. YouTube was super new. Didn't think anything of it. And then I started doing it again when I was working at a country club in South Texas. And then I saw TikTok became a thing. I got on TikTok. I was like, oh shit, I already have a profile. It was from Musical.ly. And that's when I was posting videos like every day. And it wasn't really working out. And then after like a month, I just said F it, and I just made a video of cutting an onion. And that in an hour got like 1 million views. I was like, this is crazy. So I just did it again. I cut garlic, and I just started cutting like a chocolate bar. That went crazy, like 10 million views. And I was just like cutting stuff every day. I started posting like 6 videos a day on TikTok. It just blew up on there.
Okay, so you start blowing up on TikTok. Are you just now riding this wave because the platform is getting huge and you're just kind of growing with it?
At the time, I had recently gotten laid off, and my TikTok started blowing up. Just kept riding the TikTok wave. It was always the plan, just like hustling to make it happen. I'd be like in the walk-in, editing, answering emails. Like I was always like saying yes to things, just trying to do as much as possible.
What now? You're huge on TikTok. What are your plans?
It was YouTube that I really like wanted to transfer to. I've been doing YouTube videos since like 2013.
Wow. That's like when I started.
And YouTube is mainly, that was the whole thing when I started TikTok. So like I started trying to funnel people in, and it started working because I mean, after like a month or so, I got creator on the rise on YouTube.
So TikTok, your whole plan was ultimately use this to funnel to YouTube.
Yeah, and I guess it's still a funnel because people just use it as a funnel. Strong suit of TikTok is that every video lives on its own. Like that video, no matter if you have 10 followers or 10 million, like that can blow up. That doesn't really translate to like a well-engaged audience unless you're like freaking Dixie D'Amelio or something, you know. The problem sort of followed itself to YouTube. Why can't we see like the translation from shorts to long form? They haven't quite figured that out yet. So like as far as like YouTube shorts goes, I feel like it's like the old TikTok days where you can like blow up really quickly. Like I can take an old video, put a voiceover on it, post it up, and it just starts blowing up in a day. It's crazy. But that doesn't quite translate to me posting a long form recipe.
Is your like biggest goal to transition to long form content, or is it kind of playing in between?
I think you got to do both, because the audience that wants shorts is the younger audience. They don't watch long form videos, and that's going to be your audience in the future, whether it's 5 or 10 years from now. I don't think they're going to transition. Like, I think that's how they watch short videos, you know? So like, that's why I'm thinking I got to do both. Of course I got to keep my bread and butter, so I'm not going to neglect it, but I want to just grow the long form over here as well.
It's just trickier to be a content creator today. The level has gone up so much, and also there's so many more creators. I used to feel cool for being a YouTuber. It was still a weird thing. Like, a lot of people didn't know about it. And now, like, within the last few years with TikTok, it is like, oh, and everyone's a content creator.
Yeah, it's weird, but like, even when people still recognize you, it's also kind of odd, because like, there's so many people doing this. How can they recognize you? You know, like, maybe we're all just becoming more connected in a way.
Now, whether we're becoming more connected or not is a whole nother topic to explore, but I certainly agree with Matt that short form content is not going anywhere. With this explosion over the last few years, I think we're just really starting to understand how it works, how it's connecting to people, but it's clear that as a creator, the bar has just risen. There's just more competition, there's more ways to reach people, and you do need to diversify your content, and short form just needs to be a piece of your pie of content creation. Now, what percentage the piece is totally up to each creator and how their business works and how their content works. Now, having said that, I'll leave you with this. Let's make some bread. Perfect. Holy shit. Oh!